How's everybody doing? This is Ruben once again with Philosophy. I want to thank you for watching this video. If you liked any of my past videos, please like, comment, or subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it. Today, I want to talk about phone addiction, social media addiction, and how to go ahead and break that addiction. We live in an age where the phone is right next to you, just like clothes, just like you have a shirt on, just like you have your pants on. It's on you at all times, and it's part of you. That's how common it has become. The phone, social media, the internet, whatnot, has a lot of pros, but there's also some cons, and there's more cons than pros. And the reason there's more cons than pros is because we won't let the phone go. We won't let social media go. We won't let the internet go. We don't give ourselves a break from it. And I personally believe this is the reason why we're seeing a lot of mental health issues. Mental health has become a big issue. And of course, mental health is something that has always occurred, throughout history. And, it wasn't well spoken about because people maybe felt ashamed of it. And I think that that's not the case now, that people are beginning, to come out, and it's all social media, it's all the phone's problem or all the internet's problem and so forth. It's just that it is the majority, because you're looking at your dopamine receptors being burned out. They're being stimulated above normal when you get a like, when people like your picture, people like your post. People go ahead and don't like it, or ignore a message, or something like that. And also the internet gives us a lot of stimulation. You have things from, you can see every show possible that ever was recorded. You can go ahead, and pornography is a big thing. That burns your dopamine receptors. So that's why a lot of anxiety is common. A lot of depression is common. Most recently, Kanye West has been talking about it. He is a converted Christian. He turned Christian, and he talked about how before he turned Christian, he was addicted to pornography, and how that gave him the majority of his mental health issues, which he had. If you follow him, if you're a fan of him, or so forth, you always saw him do some crazy stuff. So, that's the issue. So that's why I want to make this video. And I want to go ahead and start with the mineral chromium. The mineral chromium has been researched and proven to go ahead and be a great sugar metabolizer. When I'm not a doctor, I'm just telling you my experience and the research I made and the benefit that comes from it. I'm not a doctor. I'm not telling you to go ahead and take this. Definitely check with your doctor. Mineral, vitamin, it's just mineral, but go ahead. So the mineral chromium is a sugar metabolizer. Research has been made and noticed that Americans have the lowest levels of chromium, than any other population on planet Earth. So this is why also we see a lot of diabetes and so forth. Because chromium in the most sugary foods that we consume or that we eat or so forth, chromium is at its highest. That's the way God provided it to us. The sugar cane, the carbohydrates, this, that, right? Anything that turns into sugar fast or has high levels of sugar, God added extra chromium in the minerals for it to go ahead and be right. But what happens is that they go ahead and feed us the sugar, they go and feed us the carbs, whatever, and they extract the minerals out of that food and sell it for industry. So that's why chromium it's at its lowest. But back to this phone addiction. Also another thing, a reason why God would put chromium in the foods with high sugar and the foods with the highest form of carbohydrates or so forth is because you won't go ahead and become addicted to it. It cuts your cravings. It doesn't completely cut your craving. It cuts your craving to a normal level. So basically, if you have a cookie, you're happy with that one cookie. You're not you don't want more. You're satisfied. You'll feel happy. You can say no. Same thing with sugar and so forth. But now we're fed foods that don't have any chromium. That's why we want more, more, more. That's what people are addicted to sugar. I have sugar withdrawals, right? So the chromium also cuts your cravings. And the reason is because whenever you consume something like sugar, it makes you feel good, right? You give a kid a cookie or something with sugar, candy, they go crazy, they want more. Well, the chromium is supposed to be there, so it will cut the craving. They won't get addicted to it. But the chromium is not in those foods. And what happens is that whenever you intake sugar, the dopamine receptors, which is what goes ahead and makes you excited, is that excited feeling, is that feeling that when if you're addicted to food or if you're addicted to anything, anytime you use that thing again, you feel happy. That's because your dopamine receptors are being fired up, right? But every time they fire up, they're like a flower, right? They close and close and close and close. Every time you intake something that makes you really happy or an experience, even, you know, high levels of excitement or trauma does this too. This is why PTSD is a big issue because for veterans, especially, they go out there and they have too much excitement. So the chromium closes every time that happens. The same thing with the sugar. Same thing with anything that makes you excited. Pornography, sex addiction, drug addiction. This is why it's so hard to quit because your dopamine receptors keep closing. The more you use, the more you use, the more you use. Chromium, what it does, it opens them up. So this is why you don't get the addictions if you intake chromium. So this can be used for food. This can be used for people with drug problems, and so forth. Make your research. But chromium is a good way for you to go ahead and intake something that can help you with that addiction. Okay, of your phone, of social media, of the internet. If you watch too much movies, too many shows, you like to binge watch, and you see that it runs your life. Whenever you do get some free time, you want to go ahead and watch a show or something. You have a problem, go ahead and take some chromium. It'll go ahead and open up your dopamine receptors, so you won't be addicted to really anything. You'll have a normal craving, a normal uh, drive, right, for anything. And so it's a great thing to intake. The next thing I want to talk about is Vitex or chaseberry extract. Uh, Vitex is an herb, and it was discovered by the monks. The monks, they would go ahead and meditate all throughout the day. And one thing that would stop them from actually meditating all the way would be their addiction to masturbation. They would masturbate. There's no women around, just men. And these men, they focus their life, they give themselves to spirituality, and meditate all day, but they had a masturbation problem. So they discovered this herb, and what this herb does is the same thing. It opens up your dopamine receptors. So many people, if if you're in a marriage, I recommend this a lot to people who are married, and in confidentiality, they go ahead and tell me that maybe they have a sex addiction, maybe they have an infidelity problem, and so forth. Well, first thing I tell them is take some Vitex. Vitex doesn't take away your desire for quote sex or for anything, right? But it normalizes it. So, for example, when I recommend this to people who are addicted to sex or have like an infidelity problem or so forth, or a pornography problem, that sex drive normalizes. So when they're with their partner, they can go ahead and, you know, follow through intimacy at its fullest. But when people are so, so stimulated by pornography, infidelity, sex, or whatnot, by the time you get to your partner, you're not able to go ahead and give them that full on intimacy. This is why a lot of marriages fail. You can look at my last video, I talked about that. So Vitex, the same thing. It opens up the dopamine receptors. It normalizes your drive for anything, right? Phone addictions, social media addiction, the internet, so forth. So definitely try it. Now, another reason why you probably have, this addiction to your phone, to social media, to the internet, or so forth, is probably because you have too much time on your hands. So, being productive, getting busy, being busy is very important, not only to your actual satisfaction of life, but your mental health especially. So if you're noticing you have mental health issues, you probably have too much time on your hands. And when I say you have too much time on your hands, I'm not talking about go ahead and you burn yourself out, right? No, but always have something to do. Doing things like maybe doing some exercise, some walking, maybe having a garden that you look after, a puppy, a pet, something that you look after on a regular basis can definitely help you with those phone addictions, with those social media addictions, with the internet addictions. It takes you away from having to go to it. If you don't have anything, to really look after or so forth, then you're always going to go back to your phone because you have too much time, right? So definitely consider that. A garden, working with your hands is something great. So, this is why um, artists like painters, or if you like to draw or so forth, if you notice, um, in prisons, because they discover that because the inmates, most of the majority of the inmates don't have a strong vocabulary, they have problems communicating their feelings. This is why they're prone to commit crimes, because they can't communicate their feelings out. So all that gets bottled up until they just break. So one thing that they started doing in prisons is that they would go ahead and have the inmates work with their hands. They would go ahead and offer them time to go ahead and make sculptures, to go ahead and paint, to go ahead and draw, to go ahead and do something with their hands creatively. Well, what that does, it releases those feelings. So this is why many inmates or people who have a lot of negative thoughts, you know, they're some of the best artists who can portray a negative picture, but in such a beauty that you know you can't even understand. This is those dark artists, right? Those artists that make those pictures or paintings or whatnot, um, of maybe a horrible image, but it's so beautiful at the same time because of the art. So the same thing here. It helps a lot with any sort of mental health issues whenever you're working with your hands. So definitely find something. The next thing is make sure to go ahead and schedule an in-person get together with your friends and with your families. Don't always make it the majority of the time through your phone, through the social media, through text messages, even a phone call. Try to the majority of your communication with your friends or family, try to make it the majority in person. When you communicate with these people who mean a lot to you, maybe your spouse, your kids, whatnot, if you leave the phone, social media, the internet, technology to be the main highway of communication towards these people that you love and care about, not only are you going to be proponed to go ahead and stay in that social media, to stay in that phone or so forth, but you're actually cutting unnatural, a God-given way of communicating with other people. This is why, if you look at kids nowadays, some kids are like so shy, or people themselves are so shy. They always prefer for you to go ahead and text them than to call them. They always want to text. They send you a text all the time. They go ahead and send you a message through social media. And they do that more than even talking on the phone. So try to go ahead and keep it as close or intimate in person as possible by going ahead and doing most of your communication in person. Of course, I'm not saying to clear everything out. Like I mentioned, social media, internet, technology is great. Use the phone, especially in emergencies. But try to go ahead and schedule more and more your get-togethers or your communication with these people you care about and love in person, more than messaging and so forth. So always try to get together with them um, on a regular basis in person. The next thing would be to focus on spirituality. I'm not talking about a specific religion or anything. I'm a born again Christian myself, but I'm not here to judge you in any way for whatever you believe in. But definitely, I would advise you to go ahead and look into spirituality. Even doing some meditation can go ahead and clear your mind, or you know, your it takes up time for you not to be on social media, and it gives you the same feeling, if not a better feeling of satisfaction than what social media does. Meditation, going to church, or whatever, prayer, whatever religion you're into, right? Spirituality, it gives you a higher satisfaction than what social media can give you, what your phone can give you, what the internet can give you. So definitely try that out. Start where you are. Doing some meditation is great. Looking up some videos on YouTube, even if you have started there, on spirituality. Go to your local church. Talk to a person that you may know that is real spiritual, and they'll guide you in the right path. The next thing is Try to go ahead and exercise and eat healthy. I mean, we cannot all, we're not all gym freaks. I'm definitely not. But try to go ahead and exercise. Walking. Walking is the best exercise in my opinion. Do some walking, and whenever you're walking, let me give you a tip. Go ahead and look far away. If you walk and you look far away, something happens in your brain where if you have any sort of depression, anxiety, mental health issue, it fades away or dramatically decreases. Something happens in your brain when you look far away while you're walking. So go ahead and try that, buddy. If you go to the gym or so forth, not only will that take up time for you not to be on your phone and so forth, but it will also go ahead and make you feel better. And what we're trying to do is go ahead and have your mind and brain realize that you can get satisfaction as much as social media gives you or the phone gives you, or even more with other activities that are much better for you, much healthier for you. Also, eating healthy is very important. Try to get some omega-3s in there, some fish in there. Try to go ahead and get some vegetables. Try to lower your carbohydrates, because remember, carbohydrates turn into sugar. So high levels of sugar play a big role into mental health issues, where you may go ahead and for whatever reason get addicted to things easier than if you didn't have anxiety, depression, or whatnot, or negative thoughts. Try to eat healthy, as I mentioned. Get some omega-3s in there. Get some good, dark leafy vegetables. Um, Whenever you can, and so forth. You can also go ahead and get some a B complex mineral at your local health food store, vitamin store, so forth. The B complex, it helps your brain again to open up those dopamine receptors, the serotonin receptors. It makes you much more calmer, relieve anxiety, relieve addiction, or so forth. B complex supplement is awesome. Also magnesium. Taking magnesium before bed and upon waking up is great. With the same thing, just like B complex, it relaxes you, it calms you down, it goes ahead and doesn't have your mind running non-stop, where you may go ahead and be prone to go ahead and pick up your phone more than usual, more than normal, to go ahead and get on social media more than normal, to go ahead and get on the internet and so forth. Also, reading is something that we seem to do a lot of on the internet, on social media, but not in the right way. Go ahead and pick up a book or listen to a book audio, an audio book. You can listen to it in the car, or when you have some free time. But having a physical book is great, or even having a book on your phone is great. I just don't want you to go ahead, especially during the beginning, to go ahead and be prone to go ahead and get on social media. So I would definitely suggest, if you're choosing reading as an option, that is really helpful, to get a physical book. Of course, it's not a necessity. You can do it on your phone, but I would definitely advise you to go ahead and get a physical book and read a sentence, read something every single day, and little by little start reading more and more. That will go ahead and take your mind out of social media, give you satisfaction, give you that, especially if you like to read novels or so forth. It gives you a sense of satisfaction as far as entertainment, that can go ahead and decrease your phone consumption, your social media consumption, or your internet consumption. So I want to thank you for watching this video. Again, if you like this video, please like, comment, or subscribe. I'll see you guys next time.